Welcome to Vegas Dave's Dime.
Hello everybody, Vegas Dave here. I decided to do this. I'm going to do a post-game vlog or whatever you want to call it after every game of the Stanley Cup Finals. I was going to do my Stanley Cup Finals preview video, but that just seemed silly to pretend like this was just another series. Obviously, as a diehard Kings fan my entire life, I have a lot more invested in this than just a quick 5-10 minute video about who I think will win. So I figured post-game, like I said, analysis, feelings, whatever, after every game of the finals would be a fun way to go with this. So hopefully you enjoy. Obviously, Game 1, incredible for the Kings. That goal by Kopitar, he just continues to amaze me. The goal he scored in the St. Louis series, I thought was the sickest goal I'd ever seen by a King, and yeah, I've seen a lot of great ones, but just like on that stage at the time, that was the most beautiful thing I'd seen, that shorthander against Elliott, and obviously that was surpassed last night with that amazing goal against Brodeur. He just absolutely undressed the greatest goaltender of all time. So a beautiful goal, amazing win. That was the first time in the playoffs going into overtime that I had a bad feeling since, I guess, early in the Vancouver series, because this team has just not given us much of a reason to have bad feelings. We've been pretty confident every step of the way, but I don't know if it was just the stage or the way the game had gone, but I had a bad feeling about overtime, but none of that really matters because Kopitar finished it and the Kings got the 1-0 lead. Now, neither team was remotely close to their best in this game. I'm really happy that hockey has a best of 7. Well, in this instance, if it were just a best of 1, that would have been fine to win the cup last night. But you look at college football as an example, where you have two great teams throughout the regular season, and then they take a month and a half off, and then the national championship game turns out to be a dud because both teams, it takes them a while to get going. I think football is a tough sport after a long break like that. Basketball and baseball, I think, lend themselves a little bit better to teams coming off of a break, just because the pace of the game can, slowly, gradually amp up in basketball and baseball. There's not much of a pace to it, but it's a very slow game in general. Hockey is just a brutal game for two teams coming off of a rest, because it's just so fast right out of the gate. There's no real time to warm up. You're just going and going, and if the action's not in one end, it's in the other. So very slow, ugly first period for both teams. I thought in the second, the Kings came out really strong. Devils in the second half of the second were the better team. And then in the third, it was the Devils early and the Kings late. Overtime obviously was crazy, and Kopitar gets the winner. I think the big story that the media is missing, a lot going into the series, a lot of people were talking about the importance of special teams in this series, because the Kings, of course, had the terrible power play, and the Devils had a terrible penalty kill through the playoffs, and then on the flip side, you've got the Devils with an outstanding power play, Kings with an outstanding penalty kill. So going into this series, a lot of people were talking about that, and considering there were only 3 penalties last night, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about from a national media perspective. But I think people are missing how big of a deal it was that the Kings' power play failed to score there. Because if you look at the second period again, the Kings came out and dominated the second period. The Devils didn't register a shot for the first half of the second period, and the Kings were really controlling the tempo. Now, they weren't getting a ton of grade A scoring chances by any means, but they were rolling all 4 lines, keeping all the pressure in the Devils' zone, and really taking over the game. I thought it was just a matter of time before they got that second goal and put the game away, essentially. Well, they get a power play finally. It's amazing it took that long, considering how much offensive zone time they had, and the Devils kill the power play, and the crowd has something to cheer about. And the crowd got really amped up, and the Devils started to get a second wind based on that momentum, and they scored the game-tying goal. That's a direct result, in my opinion, of the Kings' failed power play. That's another way that the Kings failing on the power play can affect the game. It's not just lack of goals, it's also momentum. And we've seen that throughout the playoffs. The Kings have obviously weathered it and won pretty much all of their games. They've only lost 2. But they'll roll 4 lines and they'll be dominating the game, and then they'll go on the power play, fail, and there will be a bit of a lull. That happens. It obviously happened on the road, where it gave Devils fans something to cheer about after they'd been sitting on their hands for the entire second period without much to cheer about, with no shots on goal. And it happens at Staples too. I've been in a bunch of games during the playoffs where, you know, the crowd is really excited and we're chanting and the energy is really high. Go on the power play, it gets even higher because now here's a huge opportunity to score a goal. Fail to score the goal, and it takes a little bit of the energy and flow out of the building. So special teams is going to be huge in this series. Like I said, neither team was at its best. I thought the Kings didn't deserve to win, but the Devils are saying the same thing. The Devils missed a lot of open nets too. But, you know, it's not just going to come down to who scores the goals. It's going to come down to those momentum swings. And, you know, I don't know if this is ever going to catch up to the Kings. I mean, Boston won the Cup last year with a terrible power play. Maybe the Kings will too. But, you know, it's at some point it's going to come back to haunt them. At least in one game, hopefully not in the entire series. That's about all I took from that game. Obviously, we're 3 wins away now, the Kings are, from winning the Stanley Cup. Game 2 is absolutely critical for both teams. The Kings, of course, are 3-0 in Game 2s after winning Game 1. They're undefeated on the road so far. But the Devils in these playoffs are 5-1 coming off of a loss, and the last 2 series, they lost Game 1, won Game 2, and went on to win the series. So, needless to say, the team that wins Game 2 here is going to get a huge boost for the rest of the series. If it's the Kings, it's really hard to see the Devils winning 4 of 5 against the Kings. If it's the Devils, you know, we've got ourselves what will probably be a long series. So, obviously, hoping for a Kings win. But once again, you know, you always go into a playoff series hoping to split on the road. And when you get that split in Game 1, you're essentially free-rolling in Game 2. You just get to go in there, play your best, and if we lose, that's fine. We still took home ice advantage. And if we win, we are in really good shape in the series. So that's Game 1. Hopefully you guys are ready for Game 2 this Saturday. I'm so upset that they're making us wait 2 days in between games after we had to wait an entire week for the finals to start. But it feels a little better coming off of a win to let that linger for an extra day. So not so bad. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy Game 2, and I'll see you after that one. Bye-bye.